Hello, welcome to my channel for Evolved Humans. I am Ms. Day. Again, I'm trying to not edit the videos so that I can get more out quicker. So please let me know if the sound is okay or if it's loud enough. If not, I'll have to go back to editing them and maybe I'll just find a new way to do that quicker. I have no idea, but let me know in the comments, please. And okay, so the very first thing with this reading, I haven't laid it out yet. Okay, so I got this instant kind of overpowering in a good way, which I think is a part of the message. Overpowering in a good way, not overbearing in an imposing way, but overpowering in a good way. Sort of like, I'm going to say the word shine, but that's not what I felt, but that's what I'm seeing. And so the overpowering in a good way feeling sort of came from like, it felt like a large masculine acceptance, like a large masculine, someone has completely aligned with their masculine self in a way that now they're ready to step into the next version, which is allowing for more feminine. That can be either in a relationship way or in just one personal way. Aligning masculine and feminine is a personal thing, as well as in a relationship, you know? So it's like the very first thing that I got was that someone is in their full state of authority and accepted it. Like you have accepted, you know what it means when you accept authority? I'm saying the word acceptance, but when you accept authority willingly, that means you're accountable. You can't accept authority if you can't be accountable for your actions and yourself, you know? That's why so many people lose jobs if they get into arguments with bosses. Funny, before I did this reading earlier today, I literally had a weird moment where I just kind of thought to myself, someone needs to hear that they don't need to fight anybody. Like, no arguing necessary. Yep. And it's even saying, like, you've got full authority, you have completely broken the barriers that maybe others who have traveled along similar paths as you would not and will not break. Very creative individual. Whether you know it or not, you have to be creative to have created yourself in such a way, because this is like someone who has accepted full accountability and also wants to use it for good and has accepted that in doing so they need to stand firmly. Because you've already learned to stand firmly. I think that that's your new way. So, interesting. I'm feeling like you need to seek what you cannot see instead of seeking what you're used to or what you kind of think you should be looking for now in life. It's like, look for something very uniquely aligned with your new with your new strength level too. Like, I feel like, okay. So this whole thing about not arguing, that is making it feel that, okay. So just consider, like, just imagine being in an argument with someone or a disagreement, whatever. Like, I don't argue with people. I don't feel the need to argue about stuff. I feel that if we don't agree and we can't communicate like nicely about it, then why communicate at all? And that doesn't mean like I think that everybody should be weak and wishy-washy. Certainly not. But it's kind of like, I'm just going to say it this way. I don't fight with kids. So if there's an adult who's argumentative or hearing things that you're not saying, and you're kind of constantly like, get what? Just stop, go away. Then that's kind of one of those moments where it's like you have to just cut it and remove yourself, like rise above the situation or remove yourself from the situation. If it's your own teenager or something, like you can't just dip out. But with this, it seems like that's a part of this seeking what you cannot see as opposed to what you can see. I just got this feeling on my leg. There's no way this could be for everyone. But if you have some sort of bodily ailment or something that appears to be holding you back, like you need to seek a new way of viewing yourself, even if that is true about your physical state. And that's kind of like this why argue. It's not, you don't have to align your thoughts with someone. You don't have to align happiness with reality, but you have to align yourself with an acceptance of it. And I feel like in the beginning, it felt like someone's being pulled into, maybe in the past you would have done the next thing when you know you accomplished like a large step in life. You would have done maybe the next thing, like, I'm just saying very generic, time to get married, time to get a dog, time to get a new car, time to make enough money, it's time for me to go get this done. Like just weird things, not weird, but things that we feel like are staples of building a proper life. It's like now that you're going into this next chapter, I think you have a clearer view of when things have a shadow to them, like a shadow aspect to them. Because when you are going into this next one, don't allow yourself, like cut if you start to feel like a feeling of your past self kind of almost sinking back into, I'm not fully sure why I'm taking this next step, but it seems to be the next step I should be taking. It's like you need to instead continue walking on your path in your new experience. And this seems to be a big message in the last couple days, personally, when I'm working with anyone, because I also keep having just drawn into my view. One moment, I am so sorry. I hope you can hear me. It's going to be such a sad thing if this can't work. Okay, so one of the things I've had pulled into my view a lot over the last few days is people, this is going to sound weird, but it's like people who rely on certain doctrines because it's the only thing they know to rely on, that type of thing. It's like that's what we do naturally. It's like a natural sit and get comfy. Wait, I'm comfy, sit right here. And you've transitioned upward before, so like you've elevated yourself and you've created a new sense of authority within yourself before. So it's like your masculine self, like your super interactive self, gets, like with whatever you're doing, I feel like you're very involved with it. And also there's like this feeling of integrity that I really like. As soon as I started shuffling, I was like, whoa, because it was really overpowering in a good way. It was like just a large new light. And that's what's happening. It's like you have an opportunity, and also it's your choice. Like, that's really what I think the whole thing is about. Don't waste your time arguing, because you can literally rise above it. And if you're creating an argument in your own mind between what you're going to do and why you're doing it, then that's something that it's like you need to cut the argument and be like, I'm not going to do anything that I'm not sure of. And you don't have to not do anything at all. It just means make sure all that it feels almost like take smaller, shorter steps as opposed to giant leaps to reconstruct this new life chapter that you're going in. Like the direction that you're going in is in your hands, and I feel that you have created your own way of mapping out those life steps that we take to achieve the things that like we want to experience next. And the overwhelming theme is so much like no time for arguing, like no time for arguments. And that means that if your past self is just a little hint of a tendency of your own, like your own past cycles, we all have them, but like sometimes we're not as aware of the giant life cycles we have until we go through them like 3 times or more. And then we're like, whoa, I've felt this before. And then there was a big period in between where I didn't feel that way. So this transitioning like moment for you, I think you've already elevated up. And now it's like you also have the authority and the accountability to remove that. It feels like a headstrong thing, like very driven, very headstrong, like I'm going to accomplish the next best thing. Or the next right thing. I'm going to do something. And I'm so not into not doing things. But at the same time, this feels like allow yourself a little more like calculation time. Allow yourself not only that, but to know that you are 100% on the right track if you're creating the track as you go. If it is only yours and it's only the way that you make it to be. Because it's almost like accidentally fulfilling other people's idea of that track, that life track path that we're on. It becomes a habit that we don't see because when you make life steps, they're usually big. So it's like you don't always make those moves in life, is what I'm saying. Because like if I'm thinking about it as an adult with looking at this reading, I'm thinking of someone who's had like 3 and 4 major life changes that either they brought about themselves or they chose to create around them. It almost feels like pressure because you're fully aware that you can do a lot. And I think that when it comes to the moment of actually like mapping out a different thing to do, like a new life, I think that there's like almost a pressure, like that anxious feeling, that anxiety. And what it's making me think of is to just soften into your own feminine. Like you've got all the information, now lay it down. Like let it breathe, because I feel that way. Just today, I was thinking to myself, because when I'm learning stuff, like when you're learning stuff about physics and energy and the human experience and doing these things, it's so much so fast and it's so exciting that it's like, and it's also never ending. So once you dive into this giant ocean of stuff, it's like you feel like like it's too much, too fast. And this feels more like you're that force yourself. Like you're the one who puts too much on yourself too fast. Okay. So I don't know. I think too, you can laugh at yourself about some of the things that you've like done as major life cycles. I don't know. It really feels like you need to soften, but you've got all of the tools to do that. It's like you're just always operating. You're just always busy, either with your hands or your mind or both, or busy trying to sleep, something. It's like it feels like just always on to the next thing, on to the next thing. And I think that you actually, it's so neat because it doesn't seem like an overpowering type of energy, but it feels like a confident one. So maybe, so a part of this is look at what you can accomplish before anybody else even looks at you. It seems like you have something that you can accomplish because of this accountability you have within yourself. Whatever you have been accountable for growing, I think you mapped it out on your own. And I think that that is a part of whatever it is you're supposed to do. So when you look at yourself, like when you look at your past self, okay, the circumstances and the behaviors may not have always been up to par. So it may not always feel like exciting looking back, but I feel like this is about you taking all of that stuff that you elevated yourself out of and you actually taking it with you, but in the way that you actually did take from it, where you apply it somehow. I just kind of keep thinking about someone laying something on another person, like putting something on another person, like, here you go, this is for you now. Like, I give this to you. And I don't know what that's about because that kind of feels personal, like to someone's child or something. Maybe even a niece. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this is beneficial. It's kind of just fast and to the point, which I feel like is what your whole purpose has felt like it should be. And and that is where I'm going to end it. So I will see you in the next reading. If you are not a subscriber, subscribe if they resonate at all, and let me know in the comments if you can hear me. It's a huge deal. Okay, bye.